think are the challenges for the legal sector going into 2015?
So many. Challenges and opportunities, because you've got to understand that the good firms are now going to start really motoring. As the economy starts to recover, what that will mean is that they'll start doing better. But that's a real challenge to the average and poorly performing firms. Because for the last 5 or 6 years, actually everyone's lived in limbo. And you can survive no matter, you can just potter along. The living dead, as we call them, just survive. But as we move into recovery and better opportunities, actually we're going to differentiate between the good and the poor. And that's probably, I think, the biggest challenge that the average firms are going to get. And the other aspect of it is people. We buy and sell hours, it's what we do. And for the last 5 or 6 years, they haven't trained them. So there's now a real gap in the skill set of the lawyers in the engine room of actually doing the work with a few-year post-qualifieds. And there's a gap sitting in there, and that's another real challenge to the business as it grows. So there's a lot of opportunity, but a lot of challenges.
I'm just quite keen to ask you about your view on the Big Four making inroads into the legal services sector. Certainly in Manchester we've seen PwC and KPMG active in that space. Are we expecting more of the same, and if so, what kind of business are they going after?
It's interesting because the accountants have been there once before, tried it and didn't work for a whole host of reasons, and I think everyone thinks because they tried it once before and it didn't work, they're going to try it again, dabble, and it won't work. And I think that's a mistake. Because what the accountants, the big firms, can now see is multinational, complex jurisdictional issues. What they have a great opportunity to go to, actually, I call it the soft underbelly of the legal market, which is not the top 50, 20, maybe the top 20 firms, but actually the ones from 20 to 100, which are quality law firms of decent size, but in which they will have a couple of very large, complex businesses who actually could benefit from a bit of advice from a multinational, multi-jurisdictional accountancy firm. So that's where I think the accountants are going to come in, not to compete with the Magic Circle and the big ones, but looking at that opportunity. Also, you've got to say it's not just the large accountancy firms, it's the small accountancy firms who are now have a slightly different regulatory position. Challenge, they only have to carry £500,000 of insurance, and my lawyers have to carry 2 or 3 million, so there's not a level playing field. So small accountancy firms are also looking to set up in ways of delivering services that they're allowed and available to do. So it's not just the big four, it's actually the accountancy space has gone, can we make some money out of delivering legal services?
Finally, Steve, what have been your key learnings to take away from the Legal Services 2015 event?
What was demonstrated by that actually is the scenario in that we've got growth coming. So when you look at from an economic point of view, you see growth, and the numbers imply that actually the economy is doing quite well. But in reality, we've got a whole host of challenged entities sitting at the other end of it. And what it shows is the good, the really well run, the really well managed businesses are starting to come forwards, and the concepts that Phil was talking about, which is that have you got a strategy? Do you understand? Do you integrate with where you go? The resilience of yourself as a business and your relevance, which I think was the really important question that came over, is revisiting how relevant you are, where you're wanting to be going forwards. I think that was probably the best message that I got out of it today.
Thank you.